So today we're going to talk about starting small. Whether you're starting a business or rebuilding something that you started before. Hi, welcome back to LyfStyled. Well, today I'm doing something different. I'm having a walk while I'm talking to you. I've chosen to take a walk because, it's been quite a while since I've come back online and said anything on the channel. But that's mainly because, of course, I gave birth to my beautiful daughter, who is now 3 months old. And it's been quite a challenge, really, to do anything much. I've had my hands full, to say the least. And also, as part of my recovery, I've chosen walking as the easy way to get back into being active. And now I'm also using walking as an easy way to get back to being creative. So that's why you're not seeing me behind my desk at the moment. So today I actually want to talk about starting small, just like I'm doing right now. Starting small in whatever endeavor or project or even business that you might be thinking about. The challenge that most people have is just staying with that idea in their heads and never executing it, or never even getting a point where you actually start with whatever you wanted to do, and you basically just stuck overthinking your idea or overthinking the business that you want and never really starting. So today we're going to talk about starting small and using me as an example by just having this walk that I'm doing. And on the money side, we're going to be talking about moving from just saving a lot and moving towards making more money. And you'll hear why it's important to change your mindset in that aspect so that you are able to build more wealth, so that you have lifestyle and financial freedom. But before I get into everything that I want to talk about, let me just give you a short life update. So I'm currently in the transition period that I actually saved up for, the 3-month extended maternity leave that I saved up for. That is currently what I'm living through right now. November is almost over, so the first month of that transition is almost over, and I had initially counted on actually preparing for an extra 3 months, but I've managed to make it a little bit extra, and I'll talk about that on another video. But my baby's doing well, she's healthy, and I am basically also recovering quite well. Unfortunately, during my maternity period, we lost both my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. They passed away. They were already sick for a year, and we had been taking care of them during that year. But, losing parents is never an easy thing to go through. And to anybody who is probably going through the same thing or has experienced the same thing, I can relate very, very deeply. And I'm sorry for the experience that you've been going through. And I hope that you're not going through that experience alone. I hope that your family is there to comfort you, same as my family has been doing to comfort us and support us through this difficult time. So a part of the reason why I've been gone for long was because of that. I had to allow time to grieve, allow time to adjust to the new family situation without our parents, and just find a rhythm for ourselves in our own home. Now that we are basically 4 people instead of 2. Yes, my son does go to preschool, and that does give us some time on our hands on some of the days. Like today, I'm able to come out here and talk to you. But a lot of the days we have our hands full with both of them, which doesn't allow a lot of time for us to actually do other things. And during the time when I was away, I actually stopped to think about just how the Dutch people have set up their lives and the things that I've noticed about them so far. One thing they are famous for and I'm not the first one to notice this, but one thing that they are famous for is actually being so cost effective. And some people wouldn't call it cost effective. Some people will go to the extent of saying that they are very stingy. But after having a closer look and being in like a Dutch family and understanding Dutch ways after talking to people who are actually Dutch, you see that they are very, very, they love conserving money. Yes, they love conserving money. They will find all sorts of ways to do it. Yes, Dutch people love conserving money. And they are world famous. There's a lot of jokes about them being so conservative about money. Like they will invite you to dinner and then send you a payment request for the part of the dinner that you ate. Like whatever groceries that they spent on that dinner, they will send you a payment request to cover the portion that you had. Another famous example is that one of the payment request systems that they have, the Tiki, the largest amounts and the most frequently asked for payments are all below €1. That's how much they will just go to the lengths of getting their money back from whatever situation. And you know, it's all good to be so orientated, savings orientated. And you see that a lot with other people also here online. For a moment and for a while, I was also like that. I, for example, had the transition fund. I saved every month €600 in order to be able to live through this period that I'm living through. Because of course, if you're not working, your income will be affected and you have to find a way to make it work. But here's the challenge. A lot of people spend so much time focusing only on saving and neglecting one important aspect. And that important aspect is to actually make money. I'll give you a good example. You will find somebody who will spend hours in a shopping mall or in a shopping center looking for that bargain. That very same time that you spend, you could have been thinking about ways to make money. You could have been searching online, trying to learn a skill that will help you make money. You could have spent that time discovering ways to create digital products, selling them, or even just starting a business that has nothing to do with an online business, such as opening a shop where you sell products to people, physical products that they might need. That is to say, in everything that you do, there's energy that you let out. The energy that you let out should actually be equivalent to what you're gonna get back. If you're spending so much time looking for savings and ways to cut on costs, how much is it actually bringing back to you? And I'll tell you what, it's actually limiting. It's limiting you to that amount that you will save. For the 1 hour that you saved about maybe, let's say you saved €100 on an item that was supposed to be €200. For that same time, you could have created something that would bring you, if you sell it for, let's say, €9 each or €99 each, and more than 1,000 people buy it, you could have easily earned €1,000. So I would like to encourage you and also other people to actually try to change their minds towards thinking about making money and not only focusing on saving money. Yes, saving money is actually a stopgap so that the bucket doesn't leak that much, leaking all that money that you could have utilized in other ways. And it's like I said, saving money kind of keeps you in a limited thinking type of mode where you are only thinking about saving. It creates a mentality of like a survival mode where you're only thinking about surviving and not necessarily about growing and finding new opportunities, because all you're doing is just trying to save, save, save. And you miss out on all the opportunities, and it restricts you from all the creative ways that you could have been making money and thinking about expanding your creativity and your capabilities. So I would like us to think less about, focus less on what is limiting us in our lives, but focus more on things that will expand our horizon and to make us come to a point where we are fulfilled in our lifestyle and in how we are growing our wealth. We need to change our thinking from being extremely cost saving towards moving towards creating value for others, creating value for ourselves, and creating value for the society that we live in. And I know that it's easier said than done. Not everybody can start a business, but I want to talk about how you can actually start small. Start rebuilding if you have something already that you had given up on, and even just start encouraging yourself to look for more opportunities in whatever endeavor you already are in. And this will help you in the long run. And here's how you actually start small. You choose the simplest, easiest form of action that you can do in order to start. For me, today, the easiest, simplest thing to do was to do something that I'm already doing. I'm already taking a walk with my baby to calm her down and to get fresh air for myself, to keep active. All I needed to do was bring you along on this walk, talk to you, and just get back easily into a creative mode. And that's what I'm doing now. And I'm getting such a lot of energy from just doing this, from just talking to you. It's giving me really good vibes. I encourage you to try that. Look for the simplest thing. It doesn't have to cost anything. It didn't cost me anything to come out here. You don't have to think about all the limiting aspects that you might face when creating or starting on your journey. Just start. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be extremely low friction. Have something that you can just start immediately without having to have a complicated setup or even a team to help you start. Start something that you can start by yourself. That will be the easiest thing to do. And by starting slow or at a point of no friction for you and starting very simple and easy does not mean that you will always be at that point. Starting small, starting low friction means that you actually have such a lot of possibilities that you can follow in order to expand your horizons, to build bigger, to find more opportunities, to bring other people along in order to leverage your knowledge, leverage your skills, and leverage whatever other assets that you might have in building your empire, in building your wealth. So don't be scared. Don't limit yourself. Think about all the ways that you can actually grow once you have started. Because the friction point, the thing that gets most people stuck is exactly that, just starting. Don't be one of them. Pull yourself up and start whatever you want, and start whatever business or whatever project you have been putting off for so long. The world can't wait to see it. Now, I want to go back to the financial aspect of it all. When I started talking about the lesson that I learned from Dutch people and how conservative they are, I actually wanted to highlight, if you're looking at your wealth statement. In your wealth statement, yes, of course, you will have your assets broken down into what you actually have saved and the wealth producing assets. Those wealth producing assets are the most important things that actually move the wealth needle further and build your net wealth. Building your net wealth is not just going to come from savings. Savings can be used in order to jumpstart your wealth building endeavors, which are going to build even much more, take you to another level. So here's the thing that most people won't tell you. For each level of wealth, you require actually a different type of skill. And that skill you won't get if you don't ever start. So when you're starting maybe and you want to get to your first 1,000, you will probably just need to save up. But in order to get to 10,000, you might need to save up differently than you did when you were just getting to 1,000. And you could use a lot of different methods, not only searching for bargains wherever you can, but actually making sure that when your money comes in at the end of the month, if you are employed and you get a salary, then you use it in such a way and you make moves in such a way to make sure that you actually save up and reach that first 10,000. But once you are at the 10,000, you will definitely need different skills in order to get to your next 100,000. And for that, it means then you have to try to find ways to multiply that 10,000. It's a different set of skills. And in order to get to the million and the billion, definitely different set of skills. You are now utilizing that capital that you have in order to make more money. Whether it is buying more machinery perhaps, or you are putting that money in the bank and making sure that you buy stocks and equity where you can find a good value. Just a whole different set of skills compared to when you're starting off with the first 1,000. But all of that doesn't happen unless you start. So find a low friction thing that you can do to start. Back during COVID, I started off by simply just saving for the first month. Once I reached an amount that I was happy with, I started buying stocks, and those stocks quickly snowballed because I was fortunate enough to have bought during the COVID dip in the stocks and was able to basically multiply that money way more than I could have been able to if I had just stuck to saving. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with saving, guys. There's a moment in time where you will need to save and where savings actually make more sense. But if you're spending every waking moment of your time, or every moment that you find where you have to buy something and you're busy stressing over the cents and the dollars, there's better ways that you could have been spending the time by simply creating more value for others, where people will pay you for that value, and creating more value for the society. We need your creativity. We need your input to make a better world for us all. If you are anywhere on the wealth building journey, I hope that this has kind of changed a bit of your mindset towards building your wealth. Don't only focus on saving. Focus more on making money and coming up with ways to create value and create a business or an entrepreneurship, or even becoming a freelancer if you want to, by using the skills that you have acquired. That's also a good way to make money. So the one thing I would like you to actually take away, change your mindset and do the thing that has the lowest friction point for you to start. Do the thing that will get you moving along and will move the needle for the goal that you are trying to achieve. build systems that will help you get there, which is what we will talk about next time. We will talk about building systems that can actually help you to create your future value and your wealth. So I hope that you liked this version of LyfStyled, and I hope that you will stick with me. There's more to come. I hope that you will stick with me. I hope that you have enjoyed it and that you will find more value from what we are doing here at LyfStyled, because we are creating and building lifestyle and financial freedom. So it's not only about the finance part, but it's also about finding that freedom in your life to do things that you actually love. Spend time creating moments with those that you love that you will cherish forever, because life is too short. And even if you reach 170 years old, you will still look back and say, wow, that went by too fast. Because the days might look like they're long, but actually they are actually very, very short. The years go by so fast that you will not be able to remember what actually happened in your life. I'm facing a lot of traffic. I hope that all of that was captured. But if it was not, what I wanted you to take away is to start. Just start somewhere. If you want to track your net wealth, just start by downloading the Wealth Suite in the description down below. This will help you track all of your net wealth, and including what you're saving, the aspects of your life that are creating more value, more wealth for you, and those that are just obligations that you need to limit. All of that you can track and see how you can improve it from month to month in your wealth suite, which you can find in the description down below. Thank you for joining me on this episode of LyfStyled. I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.